The Mark 8 Golf R is the best Golf that Volkswagen has ever made.
No, it's not.
It is. It's an indisputable, inarguable fact. Look at the numbers, man. Look at the numbers. It's the best Golf they've ever made.
The best Golf Volkswagen ever made was the Mark 1, and it took them 6.5 more tries to get even close to it, to the Mark 7.5 Golf GTI and my new daily drive.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. I'm just going to start by saying I just want to set the tone. I'm fairly certain that Marty is both trolling me and all of you with his new car.
I'm not trolling you.
He's been shit-talking about Golfs for years.
I haven't.
And that mouth is a guilty mouth. I know he's guilty mouth when he says things.
It's not a guilty mouth.
It's a guilty mouth.
Dude,
Marty seems to believe this car is excellent, and I'm uncertain.
I need a 4-door, daily drivable, turbocharged, minimum 2 litre, practical, daily to get around while other things are happening with the Levorg.
The Levorg is going to be off the road for a little while.
It is. And I needed something to drive around in, and my friend here knows a lot of people that know a lot of things about vag cars, and so I asked him, I said, can you find me one? And he did, and it's freaking good, hey.
Guess
it's really
what?
good.
That is a Golf GTI Mark 7.5, and yes, you better believe it, that was the cheapest one in Australia. That was searched by cheapest, buy now. Why was it so cheap? I'm going to run through a couple little things, but I'm also going to run through why it's good, but also why it's not as good as that.
It's way better than that. It's heaps better.
I'm sure Marty's full of shit.
I'm not, because I own it. I'm driving it, and I can tell you a lot of reasons why it's better than that. But yeah, they're actually pretty cheap. These things, Mark 7s, Mark 7.5s, they're getting pretty affordable, and they're a good value for money. They've all been made in basically the last 10 years. This is a 7.5 that was made in 2019, so it's sort of the nicer upper end. But this thing is still less than half, nearly a third of what that thing costs.
This is a Mark 7.5 Golf GTI, which is probably the most iconic hot hatch in the world and steeped in automotive history. It's also won pretty much every award that can be won, and in my opinion, is the pinnacle of the Golf platform. It's powered with an E8 888 engine, and this one makes 180 kilowatts and is currently totally stock. People love these cars for their daily drivability and their effortless performance on the track. It really is a car that can do it all, and with the release of the new Mark 8 Golfs, this one has cemented in many people's minds that this is the best GTI that will ever exist. I got the base model with the tartan seats because they are classic. No sunroof to leak, the seats are manual, saving extra weight required for the motors, and best of all, there are buttons for everything inside, making it super intuitive to drive and operate, unlike the overly complicated space station that is the Mark 8 Golf R.
My previously all-wheel drive loving friend has clearly lost his mind, because the Mark 8 Golf R is the pinnacle of hot hatch performance, and unlike his front-wheel drive GTI, my car can do this. Yes, the all-wheel drive system now has a torque vectoring diff, which means you get drift mode. In a Golf, yes, it's excellent. The Mark 8 comes with so many upgrades that we've had to make a full video about it. But in short, you get a bigger turbo, upgraded fueling system, supercar-sized brakes, and it's lost the softness from the previous generation. When you remove the emotion from the argument and just look at the facts and figures objectively, the Mark 8 Golf R is a significant evolution in performance, and it blows away the Mark 7 in every single way.
There are a number of reasons why my Golf GTI 7.5 is a much better car than this. The first and most important one though is price. So if we go to a price guide, excluding government charges, $89,900, and that's not even for a new one. That's for someone that is being sold second-hand. The new price is even higher, including motor vehicle duty and transfer fee, you're at $93,625.
That's a lot of money.
That's huge. That's huge. And if you want a brand new one, you've got to wait months, potentially years.
Yep, so the Mark 7 Golf, you can get them for around $15,000 or $16,000, so very, very cheap. This is a 7.5, so it's got a facelift and a couple of other things. I did get this one for cheap because it had a couple of things like scratched bumper, broken vent, needed a new battery, a couple of things. That is the way to buy a car, by the way. Even though I did get it from a dealer, it was the cheapest one in Australia. Now this one here, overseas, you could pay a little bit extra and get what was called the Performance Pack. From 2019 onwards in Australia, that became the standard trim. It means that finally they were not P-plate legal, and a number of very, very tasty extras.
One of the biggest upgrades, Golf R brakes. This thing now comes with 180 kilowatts instead of the 160 they used to, but even more important than that, bonnet strut, standard. Doesn't come with one. Doesn't come with one.
So this is still running the old school hood latch like this. Have you seen this meme before? This is me right now looking at Marty with a Golf GTI, not quite sure if he's serious or not. What I can say is most of the other cars that he's got are wacky cars and classic cars like mine are as well, and they are all insured with Shannon's Insurance. They are a sponsor of the show, but they also insure dailies. So if you've got a car that is completely stock, like Marty's Golf GTI, which has absolutely no mods at all, and you're an enthusiast, they will cover you because it is insurance for motoring enthusiasts. So feel free to take your daily car there, your spouse's car. Your classics, of course, are covered. That's a no-brainer, but your daily car that you're getting around in every single day, like that, they will cover that as well. How you going, mate?
By far the most exciting mod that this car has is a front LSC, which turns it from a one tyre fryer into an actual serious performance hatchback vehicle.
This is all-wheel drive.
Dude, no one cares. There's no purity in all-wheel drive. Golf GTI, they're known for being front-wheel drive hot hatches. That's just some impure weirdness.
Who are you? What has happened to you, Martin?
Dude, no one cares.
Are you all
about
right,
it.
dude?
There's no purity.
Dude,
Purity. You know it.
I know you're
you just
trolling
don't want to
everyone,
admit it
but
yet.
I'm just giving
I'm not trolling anyone.
I'm checking in on you.
I'm not trolling anyone.
Are you all right, man?
I'm great. I'm pumping around the streets in this thing. This thing's excellent.
When Martin calls you, and if he ever calls you and says, "Can you buy me a Golf GTI?" you know something's up.
Nothing's up.
Yes, because you got your cheeky smile on again.
It's great.
You've got your guilty smile on.
What? That's mad. Excellent hot hatch. Full living the GTI life, man.
What is the plan? This here, it's inarguable. It's the best Golf they've ever made. Yes, there are some problems with it. We've made a video called The Good, The Bad, The Ugly, which we actually go through some of the issues with the car, like your passengers being crushed in the back because you can't turn off the auto entry exit function and convenience thing. There are a bunch of other issues, of course, with the screen. So driving here, the reverse camera didn't work. Sometimes the wireless CarPlay doesn't work.
Mine works.
I'll tell you a couple of things that I just actually do think this is better than Mark 7 is.
So
you've got to plug your phone in. Some aspects of it, yes, you have to plug your phone in. So then your phone actually works.
Right.
So your CarPlay works. With this, half the time it doesn't work.
Right.
It just doesn't. You can get on the internet, everyone's talking about it, just doesn't work. The sub doesn't work on this unless you go to the EQ settings, adjust them, then go back out, then back in, and then the sub works again. People are all over the internet. You've got your cheeky smile on again.
I don't have these problems.
This here has got it's got a spare tyre. I recently was driving down the road
I had to come and
got a
rescue you.
flat, and I tried to put in the goo that you squirt in there. The goo doesn't work, obviously, for sidewall punctures if you hit a pothole. With that, you could just change and keep on going. So there are those things. Also, the GTI, it does have its purity in that it is manual seats. You just get in there and go. It doesn't have any of the stuff that remembers all of your fancy stuff. You've got your cheeky smile on again. So in that way, it works. And yes, it's a whole lot cheaper, but it's also slower because
this
it's
must be
front-wheel
really
drive.
difficult for you, though. Don't worry about me. I reckon this is difficult for you. Because you
sound like you're breaking up with me.
Nah, dude, I know. No, I know. Because like you drive, and this is mad and fast.
Yeah.
And but
Yeah.
and I know you like a good deal. And I know that when you bought this, you were like, oh shit, this is a good deal.
Yeah.
And when I've driven you in it, you're like, it's pretty good.
Yeah. But you actually believe that's more fun because we've taken
It's
them both
heaps
to the
more
track.
fun.
We recently went up
It's heaps more fun.
to the farm.
Do you know why? Because as you're driving, you just count out the 40 grand you saved. You're like, this is the best. I could go buy so much shit with this. I could have an excellent holiday. Like I could buy a caravan, dude. I could go in Australia, not with my GT. I couldn't tow it, so forget I said that. You could buy a really good tent and still have 39 grand left.
He's taking
enough
the piss,
talk.
everyone. He's
Enough
taking
talk.
the piss.
We actually have to. We've
got to do some mods, but we actually need to go for a drive. Is what we're going to do. But first, there's a couple of important things that I need to say. Important caveats before we kick on with the driving, and then of course the mods, because of course that's what this show's called.
That stuff's so gross.
Just come over here for a second.
I can't believe people eat it.
From the dealer, this car came with some hideous factory wheels that were wrapped in no-name rubber, a brand that I've never heard of in my life. So I went looking around for some different tyres and then found somebody on the Volkswagen forums who was willing to do a swap. So I've ended up with these wheels that I would suggest are even more hideous, but even though second-hand, these ones came with Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. Now, while the Pilot Sport 5 is what's on most of our other cars, Michelin's a sponsor of the show and they are an excellent tyre, wet, dry, daily and going to the track. This here already has Pilot Sport 4s. They're 18s, they're 225, 40, 18, and I've dropped from a 19 to an 18.
When I reckon you get some benefits with that, often the car will ride a bit nicer, you get a wider choice of tyres. The tyres are usually cheaper as well, and the lightweightness, which also plays into the purity of this. And you know what another big reason is for me with my change? I can have 39 more sets of wheels. I can have a different wheel for every other week of the year with the money I save with my GTI and my 40 sets of rims.
So we're going to take both of the cars for a drive and do a bit of like rolling on, because obviously if we went from a standstill, it wouldn't even be close. The Golf R would completely dominate it.
How many people are racing from a standstill on the track? Okay, there's drag racing, but what else?
These are not drag racing cars, these are track cars.
Except your drag racing one that you used to have dominated everything.
And let's go. I've got him on the launch. It's an absolute chop. I've got a recorded 0 to 100 of 2.97 seconds. Crossing the line at 200 kilometers an hour.
But on the track, I don't know, I reckon this is going to be pretty impressive. I mean, look, the main reason for this is obviously budget, there's performance for the money, and there's also purity, man.
But why not a Golf R? You could have got a Mark 7 Golf R, even though we've already made pretty much the fastest street-trimmed Golf R in Australia, Mark 7. Because this is the same. This is the same as a Golf R.
Dude, it comes back to the thing I've been talking about all day.
Yeah.
A Golf R now costs double what it used to.
That's
you used to
true.
be able to get a Golf R 7 for what this cost.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And now it's...
You could get Mark 7 Golf Rs for like 25,
Now
30
they're like
grand.
$75,000.
I think because these are kind of up near 100, that's kind of brought the others up anyway. So it's not actually about okay, so the trolling is true. It's not actually GTI, it's just money.
Value, it's value actually. It's performance and the value you get for how much money you spend. Like I said, I got 40 grand in my pocket and I'm going nearly as fast. And I reckon we can get this pretty close.
Yeah, so that is the plan. Basically, we're going to throw a bunch of mods at this, see how close we can get it to that. These have been unlocked for years. There's all sorts of tunes, there's all sorts of stuff available for them.
Dude,
these are still not.
I can get a crackle tune. It's one of my first cars. Dude, I can get an AK-47 tune.
Oh, don't do that.
But I could.
No,
Res delete?
Oh, stop it. Okay.
That could be me.
Public service announcement.
Are you triggered by that?
If you're a P-plater on a GTI and you've done a resonator delete and then done like an AK-47
You're a legend.
Tune, you're a... And you know what? When you drive down the street going, there's only one person in the world who thinks that's cool, and that is you. Everyone else thinks you're a... Everyone. Let's go for a quick drive in them, and just to get a little basis for comparison, and then we can kick into the mods, Martin.
Can we also just take a moment to appreciate how much nicer the inside of a Mark 7 is than that? And that's newer and fancier.
Yeah.
But this is excellent.
You go on the Mark 8 forums, the Mark 7 forums, everyone does agree the interior is better in that. That is true.
It all looks a bit Audi, firstly. And then secondly, it just doesn't have the cool kind of retro, the tartan, the
purity,
cloth,
Martin.
the purity, the cloth seats, the buttons.
Ah yes, the buttons, or the lack of buttons in the new Mark 8 Golf, which has gesture and voice control and has been incredibly controversial. Which is why I'm going to put my foot down in our first drag race, a race to see who can adjust their air conditioning the quickest while driving without taking too much attention off the road.
I want you to put your aircon on 22 degrees, don't do it yet, 22 degrees, point it only at your feet.
Okay. Tell me when to go.
Ready, set, go. Aircon on at my feet, done.
Climate, degrees, turn that front off. Took the air conditioning button on and now turn that off. Done!
I was like 10 seconds.
Really?
Did you have to take your eyes off the road?
I don't know. We might need to see a replay. Climate, degrees, turn that front off. Took the air conditioning button on and now turn that off. Done! Put your cooled seat on maximum cooling. Oh wait, I'm sorry, you don't have cooled seats. Sorry.
It's called shorts or pants. It's very simple. I think this is also where most people are driving their performance cars. Like you're driving to work, you're going on a trip, you're going on highway on-ramps, which is where you feel performance. Overtaking is obviously actually important because you want a car that can do it. And just cruising up the highway and feeding power on, because honestly, that's kind of what it's like on a track on a circuit anyway, on a straight. That's where you get to feel the performance, as well as the twisty, windy roads. But for our test, I just want to see what like a highway roll on down the on-ramp feels like in this car. Oh.
Rolling on from 50 to 100 kilometers an hour, the acceleration time is almost identical.
Oh, he's surprised about that one. Dude, wait till I modify this thing.
You know what I think would be really interesting, Marty, is to basically do the same mods to yours, but with a tune. Because as of the point of this video being made now, there are no tunes for the Mark 8. There are heaps of different tunes for the Mark 7. So I reckon what we actually do is do the same kind of mods to yours and do a tune, dude, I reckon it's going to be the same. And then take the cars to a track where they're meant to be driven, put a race car driver in them, and just let them go sick and just see what happens.
Yeah, sounds great. I mean, there's basic physics of a 2-litre turbo engine too, right? Like, they're both DSG, they're both 2-litre, they've both got a turbo on them. Your turbo's bigger, so potentially has more potential. But in this situation, like just sort of getting on the power, it probably doesn't have its time to shine, and the all-wheel drive doesn't really help and until I lose traction, and then it's a massive help for you.
Yeah, I'm quite shocked, Martin. I've got to be honest, I'm quite shocked. But with some mods, that little car's going to be a beast, dude. It's going to be great.
I don't reckon it would have it. I mean, in current form, I don't think this would have it on the track. With some mods, I reckon it's going to get close. But I mean, that's the science of what I'm most interested about doing these videos, is I want to see how close we can get this thing to a Golf R. Mate, if we beat it, then that's like, what more do you need to know? Like, this is the best car you can buy.
You can talk all day about the plastic's a bit this, it feels a bit funny, I don't like the seat. I don't care about any of that. You cannot argue with the performance.
In summary, the Mark 7.5 is just a better car by far. The interior has a high-end yet pleasingly retro feel, and the physical buttons make it an intuitive place to be. Roll-on performance is almost identical in sport mode at road legal speeds, with the GTI getting the jump due to its small punchy turbo, and the R only able to catch up and pull away at speeds only suitable for the track or the Autobahn. No doubt, diving through the convoluted menu system in the Mark 8 to find another driving mode would give it a better jump, but on the road there's hardly anything in it. The GTI is truly iconic and pretty much makes the perfect daily driver with an enormous aftermarket. With the performance pack having more power, Golf R brakes, LSD, more tech, there's no denying the bang for buck. This Golf GTI will do 99% of what a Golf R can do for 30% of the price, and with some basic mods, it'll be even better and faster and nearly as good as my Lavore.
I'm a little bit shocked, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't a track environment, that was a highway environment, but I'm shocked.
Yeah, just cruising. I mean, I could put it down to small turbo, really responsive, comes on quick.
Yeah.
So it's like making power sooner, even though it's making less power. And I guess this is laggy, and when I've driven it, it feels a little bit laggier.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're only just cruising around the highway. I guess if you're on a racetrack or a drag strip or roll racing, that would walk it.
Yeah. That said, we're just at the beginning, Martin.
That's right.
At the beginning of your Golf GTI journey, a sentence I never thought that I would say.
No, it's good, I'm keen. I need something in between driving a Lavore that is and a Lavore that will be.
Yes, that's true. So next episode, we'll try and replicate some of these mods. We'll try and fix some things. The wheels are hideous. I can't even look at it, but we'll throw a bunch of other things at it as well. Fix any things that you don't like visually or whatever, and then get into it. So there it is. Another episode of Mighty Car Mods. There has been a bunch of Volkswagen content that we've done over the years. I highly suggest you check out our Golf GTI in Germany video. That is where we bought the cheapest Golf GTI in Germany. There'll be mods next time. There is heaps of stuff available for it. Don't do your AK-47 tunes. Unless you want to, do whatever you want, but don't drive past kids and dogs and people and make your stupid noises.
That's fair enough.
That's shit.
And think about experiencing a car. Maybe you've written it off for some random reason why you can't even really explain it. Like, I can't actually tell you why I didn't really like Golfs. Didn't really have a reason. And the more and more I drive it, the more I understand it. And understanding is probably the most important thing, really, so you can have an informed opinion.
Martin, you know what I think it is? I reckon, though, its bias is way more daily drive than it is the other way. Because I reckon the flip side of that is not a Golf R, it's actually Ford Focus RS. It's Evo, it's STO. Like, they feel to me like they are more inclined to go to battle than they are to go to the supermarket. Whereas that does, I know that's the thing, it's like, does the car that does everything, does it do anything well? Golf GTI, WRX STI, maybe some Civics, they're kind of close to doing a little bit of everything.
No, this is
But
pretty unmatched.
it's definitely biased for the street.
Value for money and the comfort level you experience. And we'll just talk all day about this. Good little challenge. Keen to see what we can do with this one. So next episode, we're going to start modifying that thing. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, everybody. We will link down below for any new viewers to the channel all the Volkswagen content, because there is a lot of Golf stuff, particularly, of course, the Mark 7 Golf R, which is actually the pinnacle of all, including the Mark 8, even I'll say that. Mark 7, Mark 7.5 Golf R, that is
literally the only thing better than that is probably this GTI.
Right. All right, see you next time, everybody. See you later.
If you want to see more modified Volkswagen Golf videos, make sure you check the description below where we've put all of the videos that we've made over the years from the Mark III onwards. There's GTI videos, there's Golf R videos, there's races, there's builds. Everything you need to know is just down below in the description. And we'll see you next time for some Mark 7.5 Golf GTI mods.